I'm doing this presentation to kind of help set up what we're trying to do in Module 20, the final module class. It's really talking about how to put together a resume and how that relates to your job search. So if you recall, we did a marketing plan for Me Inc., which was really basically a marketing plan for your job search. Um, and you're going to utilize that document, so make sure you have that before you do your resume. So let's talk a little bit about resumes. There's basically two types of resumes out there. One of them is chronological, this more traditional type that people with a lot of experience, I should say applicable experience, might use this for their resume. So in that resume, we basically put together an objective of what we're looking for. We put together then in latest to oldest sequence of all the jobs that we've had. Um, Typically describing the time frame that we were in that job, the company, where it's at, and then put some comments about what responsibilities were. Now, I caution you here, and I'm going to probably say this a couple of times during the video. Um, don't write, this is not a job application, it's an advertisement. So let's put it in the context of that marketing plan for Me Inc. We talk about the 4 P's of marketing, right? The last one being promotion. Well, this is a promotional piece for you, okay? And as such, there's certainly guidelines you have to follow for it to be used by those that you're making it for. But it's about putting your best foot forward. And so what I want you to do here, instead of just listing the things that you have done, talk about the things you've accomplished. Talk about the things that you've actually completed. Some real achievements, some real successes. Highlight those things. You can talk about the things the responsibilities you had, but always relate it to some type of success or some kind of clear beneficial skill that the that your potential employer is looking for. We typically also list our education there. The idea of putting down interests and even references. You can put down two references by saying they're available upon request. Most companies don't require those until you actually are in the final stages of getting a job offer. Okay, so that's a chronological one. A functional one is a kind of a different way of looking at it, and these are helpful when you have not had a lot of experience at all, or experience within the field that you're going into, that you're trying to get into. So in that case, we don't talk about just as listing of the jobs and responsibilities we had. We talk about the accomplishments that we've had. Okay, with a skills summary at the top, all the different types of things that we've done, um, and that we're capable of doing. The accomplishments that we've had. We talk about, let's say for example, leadership. I've showed my leadership skills, and here's some of my accomplishments that I've had in the relating to the skill of leadership. Okay, so it's a little bit different approach to it, and then we typically put our work history below it, and just pretty much as a matter of fact thing where we say where we worked, the days that we worked, and just put that in order just to kind of base it on our actual past. And then we list our education. But these are, again, the functional resume is very helpful if you don't have a lot of experience in the field or that much experience at all. I strongly suggest using a functional resume. Okay, so these are resume musts. Don't explain the tasks that you've done. Talk about results and accomplishments. I'm going to give you an example, and you're going to say this is just silly and ridiculous, but it really made an impression. I'm still talking about it probably 15 years later. Somebody had actually put down in their resume, they were applying for a job in a warehouse, had put down in their job in the resume that they were a dishwasher at, I believe, Denny's or something like that. And there's some standard operating procedure to wash dishes. And they thought, gee, if I just do some things a little bit differently, I can become more efficient. And by their estimation, they were 25% faster than anybody else washing dishes as a result of the changes they made. And you're saying, it's like, well, what does that have to do with working in a warehouse or anything else for that matter? It shows somebody who has initiative to look and improve. that's a real skill. That's something that I always value as an employer. So guess what? They got my attention. They definitely got my attention with that. Again, that's a little bit sounds a little bit crazy, but it's actually makes a lot of sense. So talk about results and accomplishments. Don't just talk about the things that you've done. Customize your resume to the job and the employer. We can do that these days because we're typically submitting our resumes electronically. So you can tweak it, as it were, to that particular employer's needs. And always make sure that that's that you do that, because again, this is an advertisement of you to that employer, and they are the buyer, and you want them to see the the benefits of your product, and that's you. Okay, all right, and then really highlight all your accomplishments. We're taught at a very young age, typically don't brag on ourselves, right? So, no, don't do that. Oh, that's unbecoming. That's boastful. That's, all these things we imply are bad. This is the time where we just have to get rid of that advice and say, it's the time to brag. It's really the time for us to feature who we are and what we bring to the table. So don't hold back. This is your opportunity to do this. Okay, resume mistakes. Misspellings and grammatical errors are resume killers. In today's world, when you submit a resume, they typically get scanned. And when they get scanned, they look for grammatical errors, misspellings, all those different types of things. And in some cases, the program is set that if they find one, the resume goes into the digital circular file. In other words, it gets tossed out of the pool. So make real sure that you did that right. My very best advice to you to do this is not depend on Grammarly or a spell checker and things like that. Also have somebody else read your resume before you send it out, and they'll play the role of the editor. And tell them to be very critical and look for the errors. Okay, not including keywords that match a job posting. That's a very important one. If they say if they're hiring a salesperson and they say increase revenues is one of the requirements of the position, then don't say increase sales in your resume. Say increase revenues, okay? An outdated resume makes you look obsolete, so make sure you keep it up to date. Don't include too much information because it can be overwhelming. And if you want to know why, when I can recall posting jobs through different job sources, and over a weekend and getting 1,000 resumes plus by Monday morning. I mean, I don't have time to read 1,000 resumes, so make sure you're really to the point and really handle it. Just really focus on the highlights. Writing a resume objective that doesn't match the job. Again, you can customize these things, so why not write your objective in a way that connects exactly for what the company is looking for, somebody that fits into their company in that position. Including a career summary that doesn't match your job requirements. Out of those 1,000 resumes that I would get, I can tell you a whole bunch of them didn't fit. Okay, and writing product position descriptions that don't show what you've accomplished. Obviously, we want to do that. And always start with some kind of hard-hitting statement when we talk about the things that we've actually accomplished. Okay, and quantify your accomplishments as much as possible. Increase by X%, increase by these many numbers, decrease by this amount, those types of things. And the last thing is, and I'm just saying it honestly, don't be too modest. It's just not the time to do it. Okay. All right. So hopefully that's helpful for you. We kind of covered that point already, and good luck. When you submit your resume to me, include your marketing plan for Me Inc., because that should really guide you in terms of how your resume is put together. It should help you write your resume, basically. And then the last point of that is make sure you include your marketing plan for Me Inc., but also tell me in your assignment submission who this resume is going to. It doesn't have to be a specific person, but it could be a title or somebody in a particular company and the type of job that you're going for. Okay, that'll help me understand what you're trying to do, and I'll give you my feedback, and you got some extra credit points for it. So it's all worth your while. Okay, thanks a lot, and good luck on it.